Alright, welcome back to Where Ball Happens, where we talk about the crazy and the not so crazy of the NBA at the moment. Now, in this video, I'm a little late to the party when it comes to this subject. I don't know how many people are talking about this or how many people are giving their opinion about this. I know ESPN has already talked about this because that's where this main report or headline came from. Now, Kawhi Leonard will reportedly sit out the season if he's not traded. Now, as a Spurs fan, again, in the last video, I consider myself an NBA fan. I watch all the matchups, every team. If my team is eliminated in the playoffs, I find someone else to root for. I enjoy the competition of the sport. I enjoy the sport as a whole, and I'm just overall entertained just at basketball and what every team brings to the sport of basketball. Now, Kawhi Leonard reportedly wanting to sit out, I can't wrap my head around too much because when I think about it, what's the issue with Kawhi and the Spurs in the first place? From what we know, he keeps saying Kawhi doesn't come out and say anything, which number one is just it's a bitch move. I'm sorry. It is. As a Spurs fan, you owe it to at least, we understand you want to leave, or at least I understand you want to leave, and that's fine. You go and you move on and you find happiness, Kawhi. But for you to not come out and say anything, address the fans, address the situation, just have your group say everything for you, that's just a bitch move. And for a guy who's been wanting to be quiet, or maybe he hasn't been wanting to be quiet, we don't know. Maybe the Spurs, that's just what comes with being a Spur. You don't create much drama. You don't give an opinion too much. You just you find the closest stock answer to whatever question you're asked, and then you just roll with it. You don't try and stir anything up. You just go about your business. So, with that being said, I still can't wrap my head around what's the main problem. Did the Spurs mismanage his injury? Is that what it was? Because the Spurs have a long history of resting their players and making sure they're ready to go. And it's understandable if the Spurs rush him a little bit, if they think he's okay. Because the Spurs, they're not the Spurs without Kawhi. And question the authenticity of the excuses that he gives. Whether the Spurs mismanaged his injury. And a report maybe about 3-4 days ago came out where it reportedly said that Tony Parker's comments about his injury being worse than Kawhi Leonard's injury was the last straw. And what I have to say about that is that's just bullshit. That's bullshit, because if I'm Kawhi Leonard, if you go and watch that Tony Parker video and he says it, whether he's passive aggressive about it or he's just joking around, he didn't say, the reporter asked him and he gave an answer. And he didn't say it with any malice in his tone. Maybe there would have been some passive aggressiveness there, but it wasn't anything too crazy. He didn't say anything crazy. He didn't say it in a unfriendly tone. He just said it. And if Kawhi's at his house being like, has Kawhi Leonard never taken criticism in his life before? Has he never had anybody say anything? And it wasn't much of criticism. Tony Parker was right. His injury was worse than Kawhi's. Well, what's Kawhi being mad about? Honestly, what is he being mad about? And now he's gonna, I'm not talking as a Spurs fan right now. I'm talking as an NBA fan. He's gonna sit out the season if he's not traded. I'm not saying I want to keep him here, because if you don't want to be here, then go. We'd much rather have you here, Kawhi, but I understand, at least, if you want to move on to another team. I know you want to go to the Lakers, you want to go home, you want to play for one of the most storied franchises in NBA history. He probably grew up watching the Lakers. But if we don't, the Spurs are gonna make sure they get their worth back. And if you're just gonna sit out the season, that not only is that a bitch move, but that's a bitch move. That's a coward. That's cowardly. That's not what a real basketball player does. That's not what a real man does. And Kawhi is a top 5 player in the NBA. He's amazing. He's becoming Jordan-esque. And that's too bad because, speaking as a Spurs fan, last time we saw him really, besides those 19 or 20 games during last NBA season, we saw him in the playoffs. And man, he was looking, just before he got injured by that Zaza Pachulia injury, he was just looking like a beast. He really was. And when he was playing against the Grizzlies in that first round, he just took over. He took over. He was shooting these crazy jump shots. He was clutch. 43 points in an overtime game that they lost anyways. But if you just watch that game with Kawhi, it was just wow. And being a fan at that time, I couldn't wait to see what else Kawhi would bring. But now that he just wants to leave, it's kind of disheartening because he wasn't even in his prime yet. He was just coming into his prime, and now he just wants to leave and go to the Lakers. Either way, though, it'll be entertaining. I guess if he doesn't go to the Lakers, who's LeBron gonna have to help him? And then the Warriors just got DeMarcus Cousins, so they've created a god lineup. So now, I wouldn't mind if Kawhi did go to the Lakers with LeBron this season because they're going to need it. I want to see some competition between the Lakers and the Warriors. I do want to see that. I don't know what, as a Spurs team, with Kawhi not being happy, I don't know what we're going to do against the Warriors, especially with DeMarcus Cousins now. Pau Gasol can't guard DeMarcus Cousins, and he can't score against DeMarcus Cousins. And LaMarcus Aldridge, he's a scorer. We need him to score. And if he's just gonna be getting beasted and feasted on by DeMarcus Cousins. So, if Kawhi goes to the Lakers, that wouldn't be so bad, speaking as an NBA fan. But even speaking as an NBA fan, if he sits out the season, what the hell is that? Why am I watching basketball? I want to see Kawhi Leonard play. Whether he's playing with the Spurs, the or any other team, we want to see him play. He's become one of the most entertaining people to watch. His defense, his offense, it's just entertaining the way he plays. He's not the most entertaining person, but he's one of the most entertaining players that I'm seeing in this current NBA generation. And for him to just sit out if he stays with the Spurs, here's newsflash, Kawhi. The Spurs made you. The Spurs created you. How good would Kawhi be without the Spurs? Someone tell me that. Someone comment in the comment section. Tell me, how good would Kawhi be without the Spurs? We developed him. Well, I didn't. I had nothing to do with it. The Spurs developed him. Greg Popovich developed him. He gave him the knowledge. We gave him a system to thrive in. We gave him everything, and now it just kind of feels like he took everything he needed, and he's moving on. He feels he's good enough, and now he's moving on to where he wants to go. God, I'm so salty. Ugh. Man. Alright, well, I'm done. I'm done venting. You guys leave your thoughts in the comment section. How you think this whole thing is going to go. This is where ball happens. I'll see you guys in the next video.